Do you have some leftover designer series paper, maybe just 2 or 3 pieces, and some matching scrap paper, and you just don't know what to do with it? In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a craft kit using your leftover designer series paper and the matching scrap paper. Let's put it to good use. Welcome, welcome, my crafty friends. I'm Dawn, creator of Dee Dee Creates Crafts, and this is the channel for simple, duplicatable paper crafting, card making that you can use over and over again. If you're new to paper crafting, if you have limited supplies, if you just want to be able to make a card fast, and you just want to know your next step, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and hit subscribe if this is what you've been looking for. Are you ready to have some crafty fun? I'm going to turn you down and let's get started with our card kits. I'm going to put you down, line you up, make sure you can see good. What I have here is some scrap paper that matches my 2 or 3 pieces of 12 by 12 paper that are left over. So what we want to do is cut this down into usable pieces, and I'm going to share with you one, how I store my paper, how I organize it, especially my scraps, but also how I make my craft kits. So what I want you to do is grab some paper, or wait till the video is done and you know what you're doing. But step one is to pick out your designer series paper, which is also your pattern paper, and maybe when you only have 2 or 3 sheets left, and look, some matching scrap paper. I want to teach you how to organize it. So your first step is just to choose it, just to get it all out, dump it out in front of you. And I do call my pattern paper designer series paper because I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you want to support my channel, simply order any products you happen to fall in love with from my video demonstrations. I'll put the link below. Are you ready for step 2? I want you to watch till the end so you get everything. Step 2, we're going to separate this into piles. So I've got my 12 by 12. I'm going to put it to the side here. I don't want to cover up my host code. This is the host code you're going to use when you order some of your favorite products, and I'm going to send you some free stuff. You will actually receive my entire card kit, including a pre-recorded video, for absolutely free when you use the host code and order in the month of April. Okay, here's my scrappies. Let's put the stripes to one side. Can you see where that's kind of, let me push these down here. Let's get all our strips. I call them stripes. Stripes are strips in one stack. And kind of rectangles in one pile. Yeah, that's a rectangle. Some look like strips, some look like rectangles. Here's like kind of a big one. I'm gonna move that and you'll see why to my 12 by 12. This, even though it has a hole in it, I'm gonna put it here. Now you're just gonna see, let's just do 2 piles and not make it too complicated. Here's a little square, strips and squares. I'm taking way too long to organize, but I definitely want you. This I am moving over here. I'm not sure it's gonna fit yet for what the measurements I'm gonna share with you, but we shall see, we shall see. I think most of these are strips and stripes. Not literally stripes, I just said that to tease you because I said it wrong the first time. Look, that's a very odd shape, isn't it? So I'm gonna put that in my rectangle pile. All right, so now we've got a nice stack of our strips. A nice stack of, let's just call them rectangles. Some are square, some are really odd like that dude. And rectangles. And then over here I've got my 12 by 12, so here's your 3 piles. And I've included a couple of the bigger ones that I'm guesstimating are gonna fit into the measurement that I want us to cut from the 12 by 12. So that was your step 2 that you just completed, separating your goodies into piles. Now, let's talk about some measurements. Our base card, I'm gonna find it right here. I'm not quite sure where I put it. Bear with me, I just found it. Woo, Nelly. I'm so happy I found it. Can you imagine? Anywho, here's my other guy. I would have had to start all over. Okay, our base card, you guys. The front of the base card is 5.5 by 4 1/4, right? 5.5, 4 1/4. That's the front of the base of the card. Here's our base, regular A2 card. So you could do one of 2 things. The first layer is either going to be a solid color or your pattern paper. And let me explain why. If you are new to paper crafting or need cards in a hurry, go ahead in this next layer measurement. I'm going to have you cut it with your pattern paper. That measurement is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. Now the reason I say or solid, because if you're a little more experienced or like to take your time or want that little extra something something, and this isn't cut to, these are cut the same size, these two dudes. So I'm gonna put this one, let me turn my little cheat sheet with my measurements here. This one, the solid color is 4 by 5 1/4, and so is the print. But look at this, pretend I layered it, and that really adds something, doesn't it? To have a little bit of the yellow underneath, and we could put some more yellow stripes, what have you. So that's why for this first piece, depending on your personal needs, I say 5 1/4 by 4 for either your solid or your pattern paper. Now what I'm gonna do, since I've discussed this with you, I'm also gonna share, let's move now to a little more of the method to my madness. With a 12 by 12 piece of paper. This is great for scrapbooking and for card making, your junk journals, what have you. But to make use of this and make it into kits, because look, what if I only have 3 pieces left? I've experimented, but I'm gonna have us cut it into 6 by 6 pieces. I think I'm gonna use one at a time. I was gonna live dangerously and cut 3 at the same time, but I'm too nervous. So now I've got 6 by 12. I'm lining her up, my 2 little babies. Cutting it again, 6 by 6. Now if you're a scrapbooker, you can now, this is, what are some pictures? They're like 4 by 6. So you would just trim your photo a little bitty bit if humanly possible, and this would still work for you. Or put it on an angle, or put these at an angle, what have you. But I am finding 6 by 6 is such a workable size that I think you're really going to enjoy it and take advantage of it. And I'll share the method to my madness once I cut these down, because I want to make a little kit while I'm with you, so you can see all the bells and whistles. So we've got the last piece of my 12 by 12 third piece, and now I've got a beautiful little stash of 6 by 6 paper. Now, let me show you what I'm gonna do with this. What? Are you ready? Here's my kit. Here's the kit. Quart size, not sandwich size. Get it from the dollar store. If you have dollar stores, I happen to know from my pen pal from across the pond, Gloria, that they do not have dollar stores in Australia. However, get as inexpensive a quart-size storage bag that you can. Again, don't waste your money on freezer bags. Get storage, and then get quart-size, not sandwich. So we're gonna put this in like this. Now, we're gonna set that aside, and let's come in with some of our bigger pieces. Remember these I wasn't sure about? And I'll share why. I want to see what size this will cut down to before I cut it. So this is a little bit bigger than 4 and 5 1/4. So let me look. Yeah, I'm going to give this a little trim down to 5 1/4 by 4. So this is now a beautiful first layer at 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to put that right there. So this measurement is 6 3/4 by 8. So I think this would be beautiful. Let me cut these into 2 4s. Love it. Really what we're doing, let me see how big this is again. This is a little bigger than 6 1/2. So let's see what our next measurement is. 6 1/2. We could do, what do I have it at 4? I'm going to cut this again at, let me make sure, 4 by 5 1/4. That's just going to give me some more of these nice, beautiful layers. I am watching the cutest bunny rabbit in my backyard. It actually came up here under the deck and now it's back there in the backyard. It's just so much fun to watch. All right, so this piece is 5 1/4 and I'm gonna cut it 4. I think you're seeing a pattern here. Pattern paper pattern, get it? Ha! I want as many pieces of my paper, of my scraps, to be the same size as humanly possible. So I now have some 6 by 6 and I now have some 5 1/4 by 4. So let's add this to our kit. Now, if you need to label these, you can do that as well. I'm not that detailed. I'm detailed, but not that detailed. I think those can go on my strips. All right, now for the strips. Let's work on our strips next. With the 12 by 12s, if you are into scrapbooking, you may want to leave these at the 12 inches for your 12-inch papers. Otherwise, let me see how wide this is. These are, mine's kind of, like 1 inch and 1 1/4. So you know what I'm going to do with these 12 inchers? I'm just going to lob them in half down to 6 inches and not even worry about the width at all. So now I've got some strips at 6 inches and whatever width. I can make that happen. And this is another long guy, so let me cut this down to 6 inches. You can see what we're doing. We got a little theme going on. We got a little pattern going on. Let's not worry about the width, and let's just get these down to 6 inches, and then leftovers, we can deal with them based on the sizes we have left over. So let's add them to that pile. So now here's my other little baggies of strips coming along. And see, that one's thick. It's a little wider. These are not. Here's some more. That almost looks like it should go in this pile. See how I second guess myself? You can do that too though. No matters. All right, I'll line these up. Now, if you're having fun or if you've learned something so far or if you can't wait to organize and make your own craft kit, I want you to go boop and hit the like button and just show me some love. And your love that you're sharing with me will help YouTube know that you like my content and they will actually share it with more people. How fun would that be for me and you? Okay. Keep doing it. I'm going to keep cutting until I don't have any more that are small enough for the 6 inches. And I'm getting pretty stinking close. I think I'm there, you guys. I think I'm there. So let's bring these together. So we've got some nice 6 by 6 strips of various sizes. So I'm going to add that to our kit. Now, I was going to say you could label on that, put a label in here with your sizes, but other than the 6 by 6 and the actual layer, these aren't going to be exact sizes, but at least your width is, one size is, and they're pre-cut for you for when you go to make your projects, like your cards, what have you. All right, we're getting down to some little strips here, so let's see what we can do with these. I'm thinking, let me see, yeah, that's 4 inches. So the bigger ones, let's bring these down to 4 inches. We've got our 6, let's come down to 4, because with our first layer, that will actually go horizontally across our first layer if we need it to be or want it to be. So what do we say, 4? I think I'm off camera with my cutting, so let me bring that in. But I needed some extra space for my little scrap piles, you know? So let me bring my little cutting back in so you could see it a little better. But for me, it was more important that you see, that's pretty good, that you see more the stacks than anything else. So I'm just lining these little guys up, pinch it tight, come across to my 4 inches, measure, and oops, let me push that against the wall. Because what I do, and I've shared this before, is because my cutter, the Stampin' Up! Cutter, has a lip to it, I tend to cut with my blade away from me into that lip. And I'm telling you, I have perfectly cut and beautifully cut lines. It doesn't shift on me. Is this 4? That's 4, so we don't have to cut that. Are you 4? Yep. Now that worked pretty good, didn't it? 4. And I'm getting down to some little bitty guys. I think that's below 4. And this is, let me cut this to 4 and we're done. That was like a thread, and it's such a little thread. I think yeah, there it goes. It got a little bit caught. So now we've got, again, various widths of some strips, but they're all 4 in length, so they would actually fit quite nicely, either layered with your other strips or going horizontally across the front of your card. Now we've got our miscellaneous dudes, so we could see what size they are, and I like to start with my biggest, work to the smallest. So we've got 3 1/4 by 4. So let me look, 3 1/4, really we want, if this is 4, gosh, I like that it's 4. So this is what, 3 1/4. I may leave this like this. I like that size. Any with the 4, this is 4. When it has the 4, I really like that. I may do it again then with these guys. I'm gonna go with my 4 inches, you guys. Now, the reason I'm like a little bit guesstimating where to cut these is because there are so many ways you can cut your paper to make it work for you, to make it, well, let me do that this way. To make it fit your personal needs. So if you're a scrapbooker versus a card maker, your dimensions may be a little different than mine, and that's actually a good thing, and that's okay. Is that, nope, those are odd man out. Okay, I'm gonna tuck that in there. So this is 5, and we had 5 1/4 for our layer. Let's do, this is 2. 5 1/4, 5. I'm going to do my 4. When all else fails, let's go to 4. And this, all I'm gonna do with this guy is cut off the circle, but that's gonna be 2 1/2. No, it's not. It's gonna be a 2. So you're really giving yourself some little pre-scraps. Let me do a couple more long ones at the 4, and I'm gonna stop us right there and talk a little bit more about organization. Okay, 4 and 4. All right, so now again, I've got some nice strips and squares, and not squares, strips and rectangles at my 4 inches. So I'm gonna tuck those inside my kit as well. I think I'm gonna put these behind my little tiny strips because I like everything to show. I wanna know what I have, yet I want it to look fairly organized as well. See? So we've got some beautiful shapes there. We're down to the smaller of our little scrap paper. When in doubt, that's 2 inches, do perfect squares. So do 2 inches by 2 inches, do 1 inch by 1 inch. And you've seen in the other video what I use with my inchies. We made that little, it wasn't a banner, it was the little triangles like this. Oh gosh, I forget what we made with that. But go into, I'm not even gonna cut that dude right there. So this is 1 1/2, so I'm gonna go 1 1/2. I'm gonna go to 1. And I could make several of the 1 inchies. Inchies is a 1 inch by 1 inch. I guess we could say twosies is 2 inch by 2 inch. All right, so this gives me some inchies, and I actually have a separate little bag. I don't know if it's right here. This is some ephemera I just stacked. This we did from another video where I showed us how to make our own ephemera, little clusters. All right, I have it in a different pile of but a baggie. I love, love, love baggies. And these guys just come in my paper pumpkin kits and the kits I order from Stampin' Up. Oops, I want to keep these separate. And I'll probably add these to my inchies envelope instead of the kit. The other thing I want to share with you is with Stampin' Up! Paper, the Designer Series paper, in the back, it comes with this little piece of cardboard. It's lightweight, but on this, it tells you the name of the designer paper and, this is so important, the solid color coordinating, perfectly matching paper. Pool Party, Cinnamon Cider, Daffodil Delight, Mint Macaron. So what I do with this is cut it down and actually put it in my baggie. Now this one was 4 by 6 that came in this size already from Stampin' Up! And I ordered it to play with that particular size. All my 6 by 6 paper goes in a baggie, and then I put my scrap paper in the same baggie all on one side so I can see it. And then when I get a few minutes, I will make the card kits, our craft kits, by going ahead and measuring and going on that way. But this is very important. The rest of it I save for mailing. If I want to mail somebody something, whether it be a fragile card or a kit or my card kits, you'll probably get a piece of card stock in it. Then where is here it is. I also wanted to share with you before we close, this is some solid paper. Oh, it all fell out. But I do the same thing with my solid cardstock is I tuck all my little pieces and my scrap paper into the actual cellophane that it came in, or plastic. What I do is I do a delicate slice at the top of my paper and then pull out my one sheet at a time, but then I stick everything back in there. I think I even have, some die cuts in there, some strips, a pre-folded card I haven't used yet, a stamped, a little square. So all of those go in there so that when I pull out, this is called Polished Pink, this stunningly beautiful pink. I'm in love with this color. When I pull out Polished Pink and just need to do a die cut, I'm gonna reach in here first and see what size scraps I have and before I go to the bigger piece. And that's gonna save you paper. You're just gonna love it. Tell me in the comment section, are you going to use this organization tip? Here's another one, 6 by 6 paper. They came like this, but I put all the little scraps in there. So go ahead and use this. I've got another pack somewhere that I did this with, just made my own craft kit. But having 6 by 6 ready to go, that was your last few pieces of Designer Series paper. I mean, this is such a no-brainer, so simple. I really wanted to share it with you. And your step 5, last but not least, was to put your cut piles into the baggie and to insert the label into the back, the label name of your paper pad. And I will be doing that with that. That was hand-pinned petals. For more videos just like this one, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Do not worry about privacy. Do not worry about subscribing. No one contacts you and your name is not made public. Now, what I want you to do is to remember to comment if you're going to try this organizational tip, and also remember to subscribe, remember to like the video, and remember to visit again soon. I'm going to turn you up now so I can say goodbye to you. Thank you for visiting. I so appreciate you guys, and I love your comments. I love making friends with each of you when you comment to me, and I love your suggestions. So go ahead and say hey, and go ahead and watch another video. Talk to you guys soon. Bye now.